Welcome to The Buzz, where we bring you leaders in dental education discussing hot topic courses and industry trends. I'm your host, Vanessa Emerson, founder of Dental Speakers Bureau, and today I'm interviewing Dino Watt. Thanks for being here, Dino.
Thanks for having me, Vanessa. I'm excited.
I'm glad you're here. So Dino is a leadership and relationship expert for practice owners who want to design a lasting culture in their business. And today we're talking about his course entitled The Practice RX, the cure to inner office drama, politics, low morale, and the overworked, burned out, underappreciated owner. So Dino, I know that this is one of your most requested topics. Could you tell us why you think that is?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's a mouthful. I know that. So thanks for saying all of that. I think it's just because human nature, we have in our industry a bunch of high performers, right? They've been high performers their whole entire life and haven't really failed at too much. And unfortunately, in our school systems, throughout all the education they got, no one ever taught them how to be an entrepreneur that has to deal with people and personalities and human resources and all the stuff that goes on. And they get thrown into this world of being an entrepreneur and they don't know how to deal with it. And so they're learning from mistakes or they're learning from just trial and error. And it becomes frustrating and overwhelming for too many people.
So how does your course solve that for them? What type of things will they learn?
Well, one of the most important things about what I do is I put systems into place. I don't just talk about theory or talk about, what would be nice. I actually look at the source of the challenge and the problem and I say, okay, well, let me teach you an actual system or a skill set that you can use. And I also create it so the whole office can use it. One of the best things that I get to hear over and over again about my courses and about my speeches is that I'm not just teaching them how to work inside the office. I'm giving them skills that they can use inside and outside the office. Mm-hmm. So it really is a game changer. It makes a huge difference.
So you mentioned that you teach them skills, and does it sound like maybe this is a workshop environment then? What type of interaction and how do they engage with that new material?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the things that I think I'm known really well for when I go out and I speak, and after my speeches especially, is I'm a very interactive speaker. I'm not somebody who's just going to get there and do the PowerPoint push thing and everybody reads exactly what I'm saying off of the PowerPoint, right? I've been trained as a speaker for the last 20 years. I have a background in entertainment in the Hollywood industry. And I bring that to it. So we have a lot of fun. I believe that when you're having fun and you're laughing, you're going to remember more things. And so I am a very interactive speaker. I am a trainer as well. So oftentimes people will hire me to come and speak for much longer than a 45-minute or an hour-long presentation, right? I've done an event last year where I did 4 hours of presentation. So that's more of a training environment because people get sore on their bums if they sit for too long without doing stuff.
Right.
So I actually do stuff interactive with them, and that makes it a lot of fun.
It sounds like a lot of fun. And I had a question until the cat jumped in front of the screen. So
those cats, they always get in the way.
Dark cats.
Because they have 9 lives, and they know that if you kill them, they're going to come back to haunt you. So
that's right. So tell us a little bit more about the culture piece of this. I noticed that you use that word, creating culture. So what does that mean for you? I think that's kind of becoming an industry buzzword. I'm starting to see that a little more. Yeah. But what does that mean for you?
Well, you're absolutely right, Vanessa. It's not just a buzzword in this industry, but really in the industry and in business industry in general. As a matter of fact, in my book, I talk about where that came from and where it started and where it first, there's always little buzzwords that come out. Culture to me is the most important thing that you can create in your business. If you think about it, if you look at companies like Apple, Disney, Google, they all have cultures inside their business. And then you look at a company like Apple, they don't just have it in their business, but they've invited all of us to be part of that culture, right? You're either an Apple user or you're an Android user. I use the example all the time, right? You either have Apple or PC. Well, a PC is literally everything else. That's not an Apple. And they've created that culture around it. Well, unfortunately, again, because nobody's really taught how to do this, there are, what I found, 3 ways that people typically have a culture in their office. It's either by disdain, meaning that they're just frustrated by people just not working the way they would work and have their same, integrity or have their same work ethic. And so they just kind of go through their life, and, it sounds bad, but it's also truth. And we all know people who are like this, that they've just decided they're just going to put their nose to the grindstone and work until they can sell their practice and retire. They don't care. They just want people to get there and work. That's a practice by disdain. And then you have a practice by default, which is, from the outside, they're looking pretty good. They're doing okay. They're making money. Their colleagues are thinking they're doing all right. But they know deep down that they actually could be doing better. They could be doing more. They're not working the way they really want to be working. And the team's okay. They're just fine. And that's the key word that I find. If people say, oh, it's fine, or I couldn't ask for more, that's kind of a D word that's default. And then there's design. A designed practice is a practice culture where you are just thriving every day. It feeds you. It doesn't burn you out by the end of the day. It doesn't exhaust you. Everyone is working together to make the best possible work environment you possibly can. And that culture has to be designed. And there's very specific ways to do that I show people how to do throughout the presentation.
Well, it sounds like a fabulous and important presentation. I really love that. Disdain, design, and default. That's really clever and easy to remember. Before we go, Dino, is there anything important that the meeting planners should know about this course that we haven't already talked about?
I would say the most important thing to remember is so I don't consider myself a consultant / speaker. I consider myself a practice mentor. And one of the things that's really helped me is whenever you're thinking about who you're going to have on your list of speakers, one of my intentions in everything I do is to make everybody else as good as they possibly can be. And what I mean by that is, let's go back to the culture idea, right? If you have a contaminated culture inside of your office, no matter what you put into it, no matter how amazing your consultants or your speakers' tricks and tips are, you still have a contaminated culture. So you're not going to get a full benefit of what you want. In the speaking environment, it's the same thing. When you want to have a roster of amazing speakers for your guests, which you do, right? Because we're there, our job is to make you look good. I think a lot of times speakers think that their job is to promote themselves and be amazing, right? That's not what our job is. Our job is to make you look amazing so everybody in that audience goes, wow, this person put on a great event. And so when we go to the culture thing, we're trying to create a culture of what you want and of what you're creating, so people walk out of there going, man, that was awesome. And they think of you and they'll remember that. And we've all been to those events, right? Where you leave going like, wah, wah. And like, they worked hard. They did all this effort and it was a wah, wah event. No, we want one when people walking out going, man, that killed it. Yeah. So just think about that when you're thinking about who you are having on the stage. And I'm not a fit for everybody to be on that stage, right? You might want a totally different route. That's fine. But just think about that as you're going through how you're creating your events.
This is absolutely true. And thank you, Dino, for bringing that up. It's absolutely true. I know that in my work with meeting planners that it definitely reflects upon them what we as speakers do. And we want to always be easy and not be a prima donna and bring our best selves and really deliver from the platform. That's the best we can do. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing about your course, the Practice RX. And thank you, everyone, for listening and tuning in. And if you'd like more information on Dino's courses, visit dentalspeakersbureau.com. Until next time.
Thanks.